So in life, we face many challenges because Satan is out to kill and steal and to destroy us. He's not after the little things, he's after the big things, which is our faith. Our faith is the most valuable thing that we have. And he is trying to steal that, and our salvation. But our faith is what we live by. It is who we are. And if Satan can steal your faith in certain areas of your life, he can weaken you. And as he weakens you, he can take you down then. He can't just come out and just kill you, because he would. He would have taken us out long ago so that we couldn't spread the gospel message. But what he can do is try to take bites if we give him place to sneak into our life to weaken areas of our lives. Some of the areas that he tries to hit that I feel are the biggest areas is, number one, our health. If he can steal your health from you, it starts to take over your focus. If something on your body hurts, you start to focus on that and you lose focus on God's call on your life. It becomes a huge billboard in your face that distracts you from God's calling. Money. Money is another huge one. If you're worried about your bills, you're worried about how you're going to survive, you start taking on extra jobs, you do things to try to create money, make money, it can be a hindrance too. Children. Children are also another big billboard that can be in your face of, as parents, you want your children to do really great and you want them to thrive and you want them to do good, but when they don't, or something happens with them, or they're dealing with a health issue, or they're dealing with a crisis, or they're dealing with anything, as a parent, it can become something that can consume you, that can draw your attention off the call that you have for your life. You feel weakened because you're putting so much effort into your children that you're like, and it can be another thing that the devil tries to use to weaken you. And the fourth thing is marriage. If your marriage is struggling, you're not going to feel like pouring into somebody else. If you're fighting with your spouse and somebody comes to you and says, so what do you do when your husband's angry at you? You're going to feel unqualified to give somebody else advice. You're going to feel like I'm the last person in the world you should be asking. And that's not true. God's truth never changes, whether it's true in your life or not. His truth doesn't change. You can always speak truth, and don't ever let the devil hinder you to say, oh, your marriage isn't perfect. Nobody's marriage is perfect. You see, we all create these worlds that people only see what they want, what we want them to see, and what we hide from the world. But God sees all. People might think you have a wonderful marriage, and they might be like, oh, their marriage is so perfect. If I just had a husband like she has, if I had a husband that loved me like her husband does, then, if I had a wife that treated me like her, then I would live a perfect life. I would be a better husband. You don't know their actual real life. You don't live in their shoes. You don't walk their walk. Don't judge other people. Doesn't mean that you can't look for signs to say, them people are somebody I want to pour into me, because none of us are perfect. And we can all learn from each other. Whether you've been married for 5 days or you've been married for 50 years, there's things that we can teach each other. We need each other in our lives to encourage each other. But the devil wants to steal your faith. He wants to steal your faith in your marriage, because the marriage is actually a mirror of our relationship with God. And if he can destroy that, he can hinder all kinds of things in your life. So I believe that is why we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to start off with Ephesians chapter 5. So if you want to turn there in your Bibles with me, I'm going to be reading out of an NIV and some in an Amplified, but I'll tell you when I'm going to switch. So Ephesians chapter 5 gives us a wonderful view. And there's so much stuff to talk about marriage. It could go months and months and months and months to draw each one of these things out. I'm going to hit some of the highlights. But we're going to start in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. I can say that because I'm a wife and nobody can get mad at me. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that from a man, that they're like, submit to my husband. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. There was a time in my life where I viewed it as a bad thing, because I had all these chips on my shoulders of men can do, a woman can do what a man can do. I had a lot of problems with pride when I first got married, especially through my teenage years of not feeling like I was, as good as a dude. So I tried to do everything that a guy could do just to prove that I could do it, just because, it was pride. And it took me, I still have to work on it sometimes, that I'm like, when somebody's like, oh, let him lift that, you shouldn't lift that. And I'm like, I have to smush that down inside me and be like, yes, you're right. I shouldn't lift that. Sometimes it gets the best of me and I don't always succeed in that, but it's a good thing to submit to your husband. We are in submission with them. That means we are in the same mission as our husbands, and we come together to work together for the same mission. Doesn't mean I'm less than him, doesn't mean he's more than me, but we have different positions. Both are important. He's the head, not me. I'm on the sub part mission. I am part of his mission. God calls us to. So it's a good thing. Verse 23, for the husband is head of the wife, as Christ is head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church, and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it, just as Christ does the church. For we are members of his body. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be united to his wife, and the two become one flesh. This is a profound mystery, but I am talking about Christ and the church. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So in this verse, we see the parallel between the church and Jesus and the husband and the wife. It's a beautiful union. And I need to throw in there that with this submission of the husband leading the house, that comes when the husband is under Christ. So he's getting his directions directly from Christ by praying and seeking him, and then he passes that on to the wife. Most people think, oh, well, my wife doesn't like to be led. If you're in your position under Jesus, it's easier for her to take her position under you. As a wife, I want a good, strong leader. But I want to see him seeking Jesus. I want to see him praying. I want to see him not just coming up with this out of his own mind, but actually seeking the Lord and getting direction from him, so then I can hook with him in my submission and say, I'm after it too. And where two come together, there he is in the middle. And then we become a powerful force when we're working together after the same thing. It's a good thing. If I gave this example to the youth. If I was going to pick up a log and carry it myself, it would be easier to have somebody come along with me and pick up one end and I pick up the other one. And then it becomes easy to carry. In life, you're going to encounter different things where you need somebody to come up alongside you and help you carry that and help you get what you need. So first thing we're going to discuss is some of the needs that a woman has. Like I said, coming from a woman, it's easy to pour these out here. But I also need to say that not all men and women fit into a box. Some of us have different traits that others don't. There's some general things that God created that he put in a woman that he didn't put in a man. And sometimes some of those things, you've been exposed to different things in your life, they can go a little bit off, that they're not cookie cutter, this is a woman, this is a man. And there's no differences, but there is sometimes. Some of us are more masculine women than, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. It just means that I might have been exposed to more masculine things, and I am not a lesbian, and I'm not a man trapped in a woman's body. I am just me. And that's okay. So, one of the greatest needs that a woman has is to be loved, cherished, and secure. Those three things are huge in a woman's life. So what is love? Well, number one, God is love. He is our ultimate example of love. And to love somebody means that you joyfully take action to promote the life of someone else and their welfare. When you love something, you actively pursue it. Women need to be pursued. We need to feel wanted, loved. When you started to date your spouse, did you ignore them to date them? I doubt it. You actively pursued them. You chased after them. When Preston actively pursued me, he was actively on pursuit for real. He had met me, actually, at Dave's camp. We met, and I was breaking up with my boyfriend at the time. We're going back in history. I'm just going to lay it all out there for you. I was breaking up with my boyfriend at the time, and Preston had talked to me and thought he saw stars. And I did not, because I was, breaking up with my boyfriend and didn't even pay any attention really to him. So then the week after he had met me and talked to me, which he asked me a lot of strange questions. He's like, so you like farming and you like trucks? And yeah. We talked a lot about trucks and dirt and farming and tractors, and I smitten him by that. If that's a word. If not, you can add that to the dictionary. And he actively pursued me. He had his mother chase me down and show up at a job site that I was working at. I was renovating somebody's house, and his mom showed up with a dozen of roses and a note. And he's like, you are the one for me. We're going to get married. And I was like, oh, no, we're not, buddy. He kind of scared me. But he asked me out on a date to go to the drag races with him, and it was history after that. He asked me to marry him 3 months later, and 6 months later, we were married. And that next Wednesday will be 26 years. So, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's exciting. But he didn't just sit by and wait for me to come back. He actively pursued me. Chances are that you've been actively pursued too. And we can't let that die in our relationship. Ever. You have to stay working at it and keep that passion ignited of, I want to be with them. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what their hopes and their dreams are. My hopes and dreams when I was 18 when we met are not the same that they are now that I'm 45. They're very different dreams and hopes. I was hoping I was going to just make it to 21. I was like, if I can make it another year. I didn't have very big dreams and hopes. They were very small. So I want him to be still engaging with me, pursuing my heart, just like we need to be pursuing the Father's heart. We need to seek after what he wants for us, where he's leading us, and what he wants us to do. Husbands should study their wives. They should become students of their wives, studying what she enjoys, what she likes to do, what she doesn't like to do, how to please her best, what she finds attractive. What does she love to do that you might not love to do? And you have to do it with her. This is how you speak love to your wife. To cherish her means that you hold something dear, to treasure it, to treat it with deep tenderness, love, and active care, to have a deep appreciation. Do you value your wife? Do you value her as much as you would value money? In Proverbs 31:10, you don't have to turn there, but you can write it down. It says, an excellent wife who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. If I gave you a bag that had $10 million in it and said, if you protect this for a week, it's yours, I guarantee that you would, that bag would sleep in bed with you and you would snuggle it all night long. You would be like, you are mine. In a week, you're mine. We need to be the same way. We need to value our spouses. Put your arm around them. Value them. Security. Women have to feel secure physically and emotionally. We need to feel protected and safe. Safe to be vulnerable and share our feelings, share our hopes, share our dreams. If a woman is not safe to share her feelings, she holds back a piece of herself. To connect with a woman, it's more on the emotional level, where men are more on the physical level. Men connect physically first and then they connect emotionally, where women connect emotionally first and then can engage physically. You can read in between the lines of that. But that's how it goes. If you don't get a woman's heart first, physically, you might get her body in theory, but you're not actually getting her. She needs to feel safe and secure. She needs to feel like she can share how she feels, her dreams. She doesn't want to be judged or mocked or belittled. Every woman, like I said before, wants a strong leader, but she wants to see him search for God. She wants to see you reading your Bible. She wants to see you doing devotions. She wants to see you actively pursuing God. At the end of Ephesians chapter 5, I'm going to read it again out of the Amplified Bible, of a man's needs, because I like how it brings it out. Verse 33 of Ephesians 5, it says, however, let each man of you, without exception, love his wife as being, in a sense, his very own self. Let the wife see that she respects and she reverences her husband, that she notices him, she regards him, she honors him, prefers him, venerates and esteems him, and that she defers to him, praises him, loves him, admires him exceedingly. It draws that out for the man, but not the woman. I don't understand that. But maybe because we need reminded of this, ladies. We really need reminded that our husbands need us to talk good about them. They need to know that we respect them. It's huge in a man's life. Huge to be respected. If he doesn't feel respected and he doesn't feel valued in his home, he doesn't feel safe and secure there. And chances are he'll go with his buddies and spend more time with them where he feels like he gets respected than he will want to spend with his wife. So, man's biggest needs, respect and honor. To respect something means to hold it in high regard, to treat it with care, to give it proper attention, because you recognize his value. We can all look at Jesus and be like, we recognize Jesus is valuable to the church, right? Your husband is just as valuable to your house. As head of your home, he is excruciatingly valuable to your home. That he's the one that ultimately decisions should fall on, that you should submit to if he's seeking the Lord. And he's going to be that soft place. Sometimes, like this message, I know in my heart that God told me to do this, even though I tried to change it 50 million times. That gives me a peace to know that this might not be for everybody here, but it might be for one person that needs to hear it, that needs to change their life. And maybe everybody else that's hearing it can share it with somebody else that their life can be changed. That gives me a peace to know that I'm following the Father's leading, that it doesn't matter how I feel about it. I feel secure that I know for 100% fact this is what God told me to do. That gives me peace. Same thing with following your husband. If you know that he seek the Lord about a situation that you're in, and he gives you directions that you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Having that peace to know that he seek the Lord, that he's ultimately responsible to the Lord, that you are going to come alongside him and you are going to plow ahead and do whatever you can to support that decision. It will empower him to keep seeking the Lord, empower him to become a better husband, and it will also keep everything in its place and you balance and peace in your home, because both of you will be in unity over the subject. It's huge. It affects everything. So he needs to be respected in his home and also in public. Do not criticize your husband to other dudes or other women in public. It tears them apart. Not good. Makes them feel like little. And in the world that we live in now, it's being promoted that men are these stupid dudes that don't have a brain and they're just there, and women are these powerful forces that are like, yeah, women power, we can do anything. And they're hindering men by making them feel like they don't have to do anything anymore. Women will do it all, I can work a job and I can do this and I can do that. And you know what? You don't have to do nothing because I handle it better than you. Women are huge multitaskers. Yes, we can take on a lot of stuff and multitask it. And men are more single-minded oriented, like Pastor says about his boxes. I got to pull down one box and just stay in this box, and I can't go into another box till I put that one away. And women can have 50 boxes down and be like, bloop, 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 bloop. When I go away somewhere and I'm like, Preston, you need to do this, this, this. He's like, I didn't even get past the you got to do this. And he's like, you got to wait till right before you leave. And I'm like, I need to get this out so you know what to do. And he's like, I will never remember all these things you're telling me. And I'm like, I'll make you a list. He's like, you're going to have to make a detailed list. You got to pick this one up at 3, take this one to work at 4, then pick this one back up at 5. And then you got to start the crock pot at this time. This all can be in a woman's head without causing where he's got to focus on first thing on the list. Got it done. Check. That doesn't mean that he's less than me. We're just wired differently. And that's how God designed us to be, because mothers are nurturers. Women are nurturers. We have this ability to do 50 things to help our husbands. That's the point of it. But men are being tore down, I feel, a lot in society where they're made to feel like women can do it all. And it's going backwards. It's not supposed to be this way. We need to build our husbands up. Don't criticize them. Don't decharacterize them. Men need to know that you believe in them. It is huge for a man to have his wife believe in him, to believe that he can do things. That, I try to encourage Preston if he gets a job that he's like, ooh, this is a big bathtub. I got to cut it out. I don't know. I can do it. I'm like, you're strong. You can do it. Tear that tub out and carry it out. I give him my power by believing in him. It really does help. He's told me that it does. I mean, I don't say it that funny to him. I'm serious. I don't say it in a mocking way. But believing in him that he can figure things out and that he can do something is huge. I know when he believes in me, it's huge to me too. When he tells me, you can do this. You got this. It encourages me huge. Very much more for a man that needs that respect. So it's a huge thing. Men need to feel needed. There's times, as women, we can easily go to the place where we can do it ourselves. And I don't need anybody. Especially with my problems with pride. When we first got married, this was a very big thing for me. I worked for my dad for a long time. I was an electrician with him. We did sewers. We did all kinds of excavating and renovating and ripping walls out and all kinds of lovely stuff. I didn't need Preston to wire a switch up for me or change a light bulb, or I could do that. I could run machinery. I could mow my yard. I could weed eat my yard. I didn't need him to do that. And God really checked me of I was hurting my husband by not needing him. And just because I can do something doesn't mean I should do something. It's kind of like opening the door for myself and getting offended because somebody opens the door for you and you're like, oh, I can open the door myself. No, you're stealing away a piece of a man by letting them protect and provide for you just because you can do it yourself. I can open a door myself, but do I prefer him to open the door? God bless you. For me, yes. It's part of his protectiveness of me, providing for me, serving me when he does that. It's a good thing. So I had to scroll back and be like, can you change the light bulb in the kids' room for me? And he was like, yeah, you can do it yourself. Just go change it. I was like, it took us a long time to find the value. And now really it's not a thing that I have to even think of. I'm just like, Preston, I broke the lawnmower. You need to fix it. Which just happened. He had to weld the whole thing. It was, yeah. I'm thankful that I had him. I could not have done that by myself. He was thankful for my husband very much. Men are protectors. They're providers. They're problem solvers. Men don't think like women do. Lots of times when I need to just spit out what's on my mind and just be like, blah, 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 blah is going on. And he's like, well, you need to do blip, blip, blip to fix it. And I'm like, I don't want you to fix it. I'm just telling you what's on my mind. And he goes into fixing mode of, let me tell you how to fix that. And I'm just like, I don't want you to fix it. I just need to talk about it. We're wired completely differently. Very differently. And that's what's beautiful about the whole thing. He needs to know his wife values his views and his words and his decisions. As moms and wives, it's very easy to challenge our husband's decisions and things. And that is, especially as our children got older, it was very, very in my face, I guess, that as a mom, I view my children of, let me protect you and love you and take care of you. And I needed his view of, let them go. He doesn't view the children the way I do. It's balance. I needed him to come along me and be beside me and be like, it's okay. It's okay. Let go. And I would have probably, because that's just in my nature to be there. And he helped bring balance to me of back off some. Back off. I know you love them, but it's okay. Back off. Which Lane and Lexi will be married in 2 weeks, so I'm going to enter a whole new season. Woo woo! I'm excited for them. But men have different needs than women. We're very different from each other. Second thing, do we speak the same language? Are you speaking the same language in your household to each other? No. And each of you have a tank inside of you, a love tank. Gary Chapman has an awesome book called The 5 Love Languages. It is an awesome book. I've given mine away like 15 times and bought new books because it is such a profound truth that men and women don't speak the same language, but also that all of us have different love languages. All of us do. Men have different love languages than each other. And I have back on the back table there printed off the love language test, that if you would like a copy of it, you can take it. You can also get this for your children, the love language test. It is huge to know what your child's love language is. So we're going to go through, just to mention them, the 5 love languages. Number 1, quality time. We all have a love language. You can't just not have one. but you can have multiple. And the more of them that you have, the easier you display love and the easier you receive love. So it's kind of like having, is it O negative blood or O positive blood? Which one? It's an O blood. One of the O bloods is really important. And it can go into anybody, that blood, whatever that one is. It's multi, it can go into anybody. It can be used for anybody. That blood, it's an important blood. And if you are a multi-language person, you also can give out and receive love in different ways than just one. If you are a very strong one love language person, you might have thought your whole life, man, nobody shows me love, because you only receive it and give it in one way. The way that you receive love will be the way that you try to show people love. This is so important because if your husband is a quality time person and you are a gifts person, he can be trying to spend time with you all the time, but he doesn't give you any gifts. You're not going to be receiving love. It sounds kind of stupid, but actually it's very true. So as we go through here, I want you to be thinking, take the test. It might not come out the way that you think that it does. And it might bring some clarity of, wow, this explains a lot. So quality time, spending time together that is meaningful to the person. Not just if their love language is quality time and you sit on the couch and stare at the TV and you're like, I'm with you. Quality time. It's not quality time. Quality time to me is working in the horse barn, fork and poop, and brushing horses. It brings peace to me, the soothingness of brushing horses and talking at the same time to him. It's like one of my most favoriteest things. Walking in the mountains is also another quality time that I love. I can just, it's a good thing for me. So those are two of the things for me. Also cleaning vehicles. When I clean a vehicle or my soon-to-be back bike, when I'm sitting there doing that, the intricacy of just, I don't know, something with the wiping. It calms my brain down that I'm like, I can relax. It's another thing that I like to do for quality time. So find the thing that your spouse likes to do, or your children, or somebody that you're trying to show love to. This doesn't just have to be a spouse. If you have a coworker that you're struggling to connect with, that's always kind of, apply this. Try to figure out what their love language is, what seems to brighten their eyes just a little bit. Make it a fun game that you can be like, well, I'm going to find out their love language. Number 2 thing is words of affirmation. They need to be told nice things. You look nice today. Look how big your muscles are getting. You did a really great job with that. They need to have words of affirmation to know that they're doing okay, that they're good, that you are connected with them, that you love them, that you find them attractive. They need to be told all the time, you look so nice today. And that makes them feel loved. We all have different ones. Gifts. These aren't gifts like, oh, I went and bought you a Gucci bag or something expensive like that. Most people that have the love language of gifts, it's little things. It's not the big giant things. It's not like, oh, I need you to go spend $100 on a present. It's little tiny things. Walking out into the yard and picking a bouquet of dandelions and walking in and just handing it to them and saying, thinking about you. Dandelions are free, guys. Go pick some. Small little things that just let them know that you're thinking about them. Number 4 thing, fourth love language is acts of service. Finding something to do for them as an act of service. Maybe getting up early and packing their lunch for them. Or laying their clothes out the night before if you know what they like to wear. If not, no. Some people like to pick their own clothes. Some people don't. So, find something they like. Brian does not like that. Don't do that, Justine. Find something that they like for you to do. Maybe make him some cookies and put it in his lunchbox. Do something that they like. Try maybe putting their food on their plate for them and cutting their steak up and being like, here you go. and serving it to them. It's all about that service, servanthood. Find something that they normally do and do it for them. If they take the garbage out every morning, maybe do it for them and have it already done and be like, I already took the garbage out. And they'll be like, wow, thanks. And be like, no, I know that you've been really busy. It speaks love to somebody that acts of service as their love language. The fifth love language is physical touch. This is not a sexual touch. It is a physical touch. Putting your arm on their shoulder, putting your hand on the small of their back, holding their hand, rubbing their hair. If you watch Preston sit beside me when we sit at church, he's always touching some part of my body and petting it. And I love it because physical touch is one of my love languages, so it jives together. If it's not, it would annoy me, and I'd be like, don't touch me. Because I know some people that don't like that they're just like, oh, this is the touching, it bothers me. And to me and him, it's just normal. We're always holding hands, or he's always got his arm around me, or he's playing with my hair or something, because physical touch is his love language. And he got really lucky because I'm a trilingual person, so I just suck the love in every way I can. It's a good thing. So if their love language is physical touch and yours isn't, it's going to be hard for you. Because if you don't like to be touched and theirs is touch, you're going to have to go outside of your comfort zone. But you can see how it will be easy for them to not feel loved if you don't ever touch them. If that's their love language. It's kind of like if I was going to hook a trailer up and I put a ball on my hitch and I backed into a gooseneck. And I'm like, backed in again. It won't connect. A gooseneck trailer goes in the bed of your truck and a ball hitch is at the end. You're never going to pull that trailer because you don't have a connection. You need to find out what your spouse's connection is and start speaking each other's language. Now you can see why it's so important for children. Children each will have their own love language too. And most of the time they're not the same as each other. So you can be speaking love to one kid and another kid feels neglected and is like, my love language is little gifts and putting little notes in their lunchbox or buying, making them a cookie and sticking it in there and just being like, I love you, speaks volumes to them, where another kid can be like, give me the cookie, and they don't care. So it's an important aspect for life. So grab one of the tests off that back table and take it, please, and find that out, because it has been a huge help for me in my life to know that, especially about my children and about my spouse. Third thing I want to talk about is boundaries. Boundaries in marriage are huge. You need safety boundaries, and you also need war boundaries. Everybody has arguments and disagreements. It's the aspect of putting two people together that are not identical to each other. You're going to have disagreements at some state or place. Also, safety boundaries. Safety boundaries are meant to keep your marriage safe. You don't want to cross these boundaries because it leads you. Doesn't mean that if you cross over the line, you can step out over the line and still be safe and be like, this isn't so bad, see? But out here's danger. And if you stay over there long enough, you could end up getting hurt or hurting somebody else. So safety boundaries we'll start off with first. Do not spend time with the opposite sex sharing feelings. If you do this, and you work with coworkers or you work with the opposite sex, this does not mean that you cannot communicate with somebody and be like, you're a man, I can't talk to you. No, but if you are sharing your deep feelings in a way of complaining, you can open yourself up that they're not living with you. And it'd be real easy for them to be like, well, you know what, Autumn, you're a great girl, and Preston should be glad to have you, and you're so beautiful. I don't know what you don't see. What it's doing in your head is it's planting seeds. And you might not yield to it right away. But as soon as trouble arises, you might be sucked sideways into that to be yielding to it. And you might think, well, not me. I feel good about my marriage. I love Preston very much. And we've gone through, I consider us to have a great marriage. But we didn't get there because it was great the whole time. You get to a point of a good marriage because you go through the hell to get to the heaven. And it doesn't mean that hell ain't coming back around trying to take you down, because it does. You will constantly go through trials your entire married life. They never end. But you can get stronger, that they have less impact on you the more stronger you get in who you are in Christ, that they don't have as much of a impact. You see them for what they are, and some things you can just skip right over that because you see it for exactly what it is and you don't yield to it. So don't get discouraged about that. That's a good thing. In our marriage, I don't even know how long ago it was. It was a very long time ago. Probably, it was right after I first got my horse. So my horse is going to be 16. So about 15, 16 years ago, Preston, I know this is hard to believe, but he really did not like my horse. So the horse thing and the race truck thing were always a big issue between the two of us that we kind of battled back and forth between. And he did not like horses at that stage. He was like, horses, you don't need your horse. And I was all about my horse at that time, that I was like, and my baby. And I was pouring a lot of time into training her. And I went to a horse sale by myself down in Middleburg. And I sat down, and this very good-looking guy come over and sat down beside me and was like, "Hey, you're so pretty." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I have horses. I was wondering if you'd like to come ride with me sometime." And I was like, "No, I have my own horse." And he's like, "All right, well, I'm down here every week, so if you ever feel like you want to go for a ride, we have this big mountain pass, and I have so many horses. I have a huge horse barn." He's like, "I would love for you to come riding with me." And I was just like, "Yeah, no. And then he left, and I sat there. And I was like, he thought I was pretty. I feel flattered. And he likes horses. And I'll never forget on that ride home that I was like, this is a snare from the devil, a temptation to try to draw me away from my husband. And I come home and I was like, I started crying, and I was like, "Preston, we got to talk." This guy come up to me and said I was pretty, and, and I exploded it all over. And I was like, I don't want to keep this inside me secret, because I liked going to the horse sale a lot, and I didn't want to fight with him over horses and then go down there and be tempted by that guy. You have to be real with yourself. Your temptation might not come at a horse sale. But I'm sure Preston has gone through temptations too, that, always what your wife or spouse is not, there's going to be somebody that's going to be that for them at that moment to try to tempt them away. And I was honest, and we blew it out, and he was like, "Okay, well, you can't help that you did it. You told the dude no, but you ain't going to the horse sale alone." And I was like, "I agree." So he came with me from that point forward. Or I took Gracie with me. Grace was my security woobie. She went with me. But you understand that if you lie to yourself and you say that you're strong enough to deal with it, and you don't be accountable and you keep it in the darkness in your mind, it has a chance to grow. Be real with yourself. Don't share no dinners, lunches, car rides where you're being vulnerable and you're open, spending time. Unless it's an emergency, you shouldn't be spending one-on-one time with anybody consistently like that but your spouse. It can lead to crossing a very dangerous line that you might not be able to get back across very easily. You don't want to talk negatively about your spouse to other people, your coworkers. You're painting a very bad picture. So we speak life into that situation, whatever it is. In Jesus' name. You don't want to compliment the opposite sex. Never should you walk into work and look at somebody and be like, "Oh, you look beautiful today." Or, you're looking pretty hot. I can tell you've been going to the gym. You're opening the door. You really are. You can compliment somebody and be like, oh, you look nice today. If you have a relationship with them that I don't know why you would even say that. I mean, I don't ever look at David when we're co-workers and I don't be like, David, you look so nice today. Not that you don't look nice, David, but I don't know why you would have the need to be able to tell somebody they look nice. I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's something special and they dressed up and they normally don't, you could tell them they look nice, but you don't want to go into great detail because it's a trap. Right. And you're setting seeds in their mind that they're like, oh, they think I look nice. Then they'll go home and their spouse won't even notice. And what it is you just develop something in them that they're like, they notice that I look good, but my spouse doesn't. Yeah. And Satan is out to get us. He is. You don't want to watch sexually explicit material. No movies, literature that exalts immoral behavior. Smut books. Reading romance novels for women or dudes. Not okay. What it does is it plants seeds in your mind of this is how it should be. And they'll never live up to the expectation of a writer that is theoretically making a fake man or fake woman. It just isn't there. So it definitely will affect how you feel towards your spouse. Sins are spiritual. If you yield to them, that spirit can be present in your house. And it will affect your children even if it's hidden. We don't want that growing in our house. We want to keep our houses safe. So be real. If the thought of attraction comes, be real with yourself. There's always going to be somebody more prettier than me. There always is. There's always going to be somebody that's younger, that's more athletic looking, more whatever. But if I go my whole life feeling like that and feeling insecure that he's going to be looking at other women, I won't feel secure in my marriage. So being real with the temptation of, we know that there's other people that will look better than us. He knows that there is, but he has to choose to not look at them. Just the same way that I have to choose that there's going to be people that have hair on their head. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't care that Preston's bald. There will be temptations that I'm going to have to face, and I'm going to have to be real with myself that if I see somebody that flicks something in me, I have to be real with myself and say, no, I'm not engaging with them. Because I feel in my heart that I looked and something was not like a normal look. First look is free. The second one costs you. So you have to be real with yourself. Nobody else can do this for you. Nobody else knows the thoughts that's going on in your mind but God. You have to be real with yourself and want to do better. That you say, if I'm looking at somebody and it's prickling my pear, cut it off. Don't let that thing grow. See it for what it is. It's a temptation to take you down. If we could see into the spiritual realm and see the ugliness of sin and demons that are actually present at the moment of a temptation, oh, how we would run. It would not be a temptation if we could see the ugly destruction and the demons that are attached to certain things. Pornography looks great viewing it and you're seeing some perfect person, but the demonic spirit behind that and the ugliness that is attached to it, if you could see what is coming off on you, if I had a bucket of poo here and was going to dump it on you from a cow, it's pretty liquidy. If I had that standing here and I was like, just stand here, it's good, you would never stand there and let me dump that on you because you see it for what it is and you're like, ugh, I'm not getting covered in poop. I smell like cow poop for days. It doesn't come off. You wouldn't allow it to be on you. But the devil never comes with what is actually going to attach to you. He's got to sugarcoat it. In the youth, we call this a sugar-coated poop pop. I made cake pops, stuck a horse turd in one, covered it in icing and sprinkles, and then I made normal cake pops. Kept that one separate, and I let everybody eat their cake pops. And then I split that one apart. And they were like, were you there, Isaac, when I did the sugar-coated poop pop? Oh, you did the lemonade one, yeah. Yeah, Darren drank the lemonade. It made a memorable memory in your mind, did it not? Sugar and salt look exactly the same. So I made him make a big pitcher of Kool-Aid with 2 big cups of salt. And then he drank and partake of the lemonade. And the whole lesson was on, be careful what you partake on, because it might look good, but once you actually get it in you, you're like, ah. Same with the poop pop. The whole point of it is that if I put a little bit of poo in a brownie, you're not going to want to eat the whole pan of brownies because of the little bit of grossness that's in it. But how much do we let a little bit of sin and a little bit of this and a little bit of that in there, and we don't ever even think of it, we just partake of it and eat it. Naturally, we can see we don't want to eat that or participate with that. But spiritually, we just consume whatever comes our way, and we don't even think about what's attached to it. So, yeah, we got to be real. We got to be honest with ourselves. The devil doesn't come in a red jumpsuit, like Pastor always says. Doesn't come knocking in a red jumpsuit with horns on his head and a pitchfork. Usually comes with big, beautiful blue eyes and a pretty smile. You want to have boundaries of your phones, emails, computers. Everything should be shareable. There is nothing that you should have that you can't hand over to one of your children or your spouse and be like, here, go through my Facebook, see my private messages without deleting it. Look on my laptop and see my search history. I have nothing to hide. I don't care if you look at it. If you have something to hide, that's when you don't want somebody to look at it. So you want to be open to keep that boundary safe in your marriage. You want to keep an open boundary of what is mine is yours, and anything that I participate or do, you can engage in it with me. There's nothing that Preston can't come with me to do. He just started coming to the gym with me, and I'm so happy to have him there with me. It's been great. But if I was hiding a boyfriend at the gym, I wouldn't want my husband with me. And there's people that do that. You know? It's not a good thing. So everything should be an open book. No hidden things between you. Sin lies in darkness. Hidden things need to be brought into the light so they can be dealt with. Don't hide anything. Fighting boundaries. Everybody should have wars of engagement in your marriage. Boundaries that you set in your marriage and in your life, even with children and with yourself, of fighting boundaries. Because the Bible tells us, be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down upon your wrath. You're not supposed to be in a state of angry, and you're not supposed to sin when you're angry. And if you don't have boundaries set inside you, you'll be tempted to smack somebody someday or do something that would be a sin. So you want to stay on the level, you got to have boundaries. I'll just tell you some of Preston and I's boundaries. When we first got married, especially, I'm just exposing poor Preston. I didn't even tell him I was doing it. I'm sorry. He already knows with the youth, our lives are an open book. But when we especially first got married, we didn't have any rules of engagement. And we would get into fights. And he would take off and leave in his truck and be gone for like 20 minutes and then come back and be mad and storm back into the bedroom. And then we'd get into a fight again, and I'd go out and get in my car, and then I'd drive around and be mad, and then I'd come back. And then he'd go out and get in his race truck and take off and go out and do a burnout at the stop sign so I could hear him. And then he'd come back like 20 minutes later. And it was constant. And finally we got smarter and we come up with these boundaries. Actually, we went to a marriage getaway, and I don't remember if it was Pastor or Miss Irene. Somebody had said about setting boundaries about fighting, and we set boundaries for ourselves. You need to make them for your own self. These are my boundaries, but maybe it'll get the thought process turning. No running away in vehicles, especially, or running away. We set a boundary that we're not allowed to leave the property. If we need a break, we need to communicate that. Because there are times when you're so hot that you're not focusing on that anymore. You're just angry. And you need a break, and you need to be like, I need away from you. I usually go to the horse barn. He goes to his garage. That's our breaks. We have to take breaks sometimes, and it's okay. But then we got to come back again and discuss it. It doesn't mean the problem goes away or we just ignore it then and we go about our lives. We have to have some time to process, but we're not allowed to run away, not allowed to run down the road anymore in our race truck and do burnouts. And we got to agree to reconvene and then discuss it calmly. No name calling. Name calling in your relationship destroys your credibility with your words. If I call you a name and say, you're so stupid, and then we make up and I'm like, you're not stupid, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that to you. And then we fight again and I said, you're so stupid. I'm destroying my own credibility with myself, because what you speak out of your mouth, whether you think it or not, and you think, well, I didn't really mean that, you're actually destroying the power of your prayers. Because what you speak, if you don't mean what you speak, when you speak it out in a prayer, your mind will automatically not believe what you're saying either, because you speak so many lies out your mouth. Calling names destroys your credibility with the other person. You say it over and over to them. It don't matter how many times you say you're sorry. They're going to start believing that you think that they're stupid. So be careful what you say to your spouse. And the third thing, Bible tells us in James 1:19, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Listen. Listen for the act of actually listening to what your spouse is saying. Repeat back what you think that you're hearing that they're saying, not just to answer back. Most people, when they listen to somebody, they're already thinking about what they're going to say back to them and not actually concentrating on what they're hearing. So listen to hear and receive and talk about what you're actually hearing. And number 4, no option of divorce. Option of divorce is off the table. And again, no condemnation for anybody that has got divorced. I know that there is different aspects that happen that is out of control. And in order to make a marriage work, you have to have 2 people that are working at it, not just one person. So those aspects I understand. I'm not trying to, no condemnation to somebody, but we want to try to say no divorce. Divorce is not an option. We don't want to entertain that if we go through a trial, because you're going to go through things and you don't want to give up. You want to fight through these things, because that's what's going to make you a strong marriage in the end. My sister one time told me, which don't tell her that I said this, because she likes to tell me things. She likes to get that one up. I don't care if you tell her. She told me one time that the best captains are the ones that have been through the most storms. That has really stuck with me. If I was going across the ocean, I want the captain that's been through the most storms being my captain of my ship. I don't want some newbie that's never been through nothing. I want somebody that's handled all kinds of troubles coming their way, because they've survived and they've gotten through it. You want in your marriage to be strong. You want to display God's love to other people through your marriage, then you're going to have to fight through some storms and not give up. Stay strong. And the fifth boundary for fighting, forgiveness. When you argue, and you talk it out, both of you, this is an important aspect of it, you both have to be settled on it. After you're both settled on it, you forgive and you let it go. Do not keep bringing it up in future arguments or as soon as your spouse makes a mistake. Now, I will say, if you don't both have it settled, because usually the person that was the offender in the argument, they want it to be settled immediately. Yep, we're over that. Let's go. And they don't want to talk about what they actually did. You need to talk things out. You need to be, if you were the person that did something wrong, you need to sit there and let your spouse talk through their hurts and their pains and their views and let them process it. And sometimes that doesn't happen like immediately. But if you're open and you're humble, they can process through anything. I have heard wonderful testimonies of people that have had spouses cheat on them and awful things happen. And they come back together and they are stronger than ever before. But it was because they were accountable for their actions and didn't try to be like, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything. They were accountable and they also let that other person talk their feelings out. And once they talked it out and they came to an agreeable area, then they moved forward. Can't take forever. With that talking things out, you can't take 2 years to talk it out and to try to process and be like, I can't forgive you for another year because I still got to talk about it. You can't let it go forever, but you can't cut the person off and just expect them to skip over it. A lot of women got to talk their feelings out. Some men have to talk their feelings out. It's good to talk your feelings out, but this comes back to that security of feeling safe to be vulnerable, safe to share your feelings without judgment or condemnation. It's a huge thing. Hebrews 8:12 says, for I will forgive their wickedness and will remember their sins no more. If Jesus can forgive you and move forward, you can forgive people too. 4 scriptures, we're getting down to the time here. 3 scriptures to help you if you find yourself in trouble. These 3 scriptures have been instrumental to me in my life of helping me to overcome any kind of, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it was with my children, with my husband, with finances, with anything. These 3 truths really have helped me, and they have been stuck in my mind. The truth sets you free. In John 8:32, we can just turn there quick. John 8:32, this is Jesus speaking, and he said, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Always being honest. Honesty is huge in your life and in your marriage, in your job. It doesn't matter where you apply it to. Honesty is huge. And I've heard so many people say, even after it's been this huge thing that they've kept secret for so long and it comes out to light and there's such a big, huge mess, of having the truth out. Because when you keep that stuff secret and inside you, it is a heavy burden. The truth sets you free. No matter what comes after that, truth prevails. You need to walk in truth. You need to walk in freedom. So Psalms 119 verse 105 says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Satan wants you to walk in darkness. Darkness is walking in lies because he's the father of lies. You want to walk in the light, you have to walk in the truth. And, nobody can do that for you but yourself. People might find secrets out that you have hidden and might bring it to the light and you don't want them to. But I'm telling you, when you come clean and you get it all off, the freedom that will overwhelm your life is huge. It won't be easy, but God can help you do it and just get free, get open, get honest, and then Then you can grow from there, because things don't grow in darkness. They grow where they can get light. You want to grow in your relationship with the Lord. You want to grow in your marriage. Get free. Walk in truth. Second thing is Mark 9. This is where I went into the offering, and got all discombobulated there this morning. This is where Jesus was helping the boy that was throwing himself into the fire. And the disciples couldn't heal him, couldn't cast it out. And Jesus said in verse 23, if you can, because his father was asking him in the verse before, I guess we could just read that. Verse 22, it has often thrown him into the fire or water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. And Jesus' answer to him was, if you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for him who believes. Take that scripture and apply it to your life. All things are possible to him that believes. What do you believe about your spouse? Do you walk around saying bad things about them? They'll never change. They keep doing this. They're never going to stop. That's just how they are. If you speak that over and over, you're actually having faith it's going to happen, and you're drawing that to your life. Or you can go the flip side and you can go, all things are possible to him who believes. What are you believing in your life? You believing that your spouse is going to change, that you're going to change, that good things are coming your way, that you can overcome every trial that comes your way, then you're going to speak that way. I'm pretty firm in believing that I can drive my car home. I'm not going to sit here this morning and be like, I can't drive home. I don't know if I can reach the gas pedal. With these long things, I think I can. But you understand that if I keep speaking that and saying I can't drive, I won't drive. You have to speak good things. Believe good things for yourself and for your marriage and for your spouse. If you can do that, and you can start applying all that negativeness towards something positive. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence thing is very true in marriage. That you can look at somebody else and be like, oh, they're so great. And if you pursued them and stop pursuing your spouse, you'll put so much effort and energy into watering that grass that if you actually just took that energy and watered your own wife or own husband, they would start to turn green again and look beautiful. But we don't do that. We go to where it's already green and start sprinkling our water instead of looking at ourselves and being like, what have I been doing to this grass to make it look so nasty? Yeah. Have faith for your spouse. Believe in them. Speak good things over them. Your words are either working for you or against you. And love never fails. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If you want to turn there, you can turn there. If you don't have to. It's your choice. Oh, goodness. Going the wrong direction. There we are. The great love chapter, which we could read the whole verse here, but I'm just going to hone in for sake of time of verse, oh goodness, I can't even read that, 8. Love never fails. In every situation in your life, you can apply that. If you don't know what to do and you're struggling and you're like, I've tried everything I know to do, love never fails. Walk in love. What would love do? How would love respond to this? Love does not respond by they deserve it. Love does not respond by they treated me this way, so I'm going to be kind back to them. Love chooses, just like Christ. Love is a choice. He chose to love us when we were yet sinners, not when we were perfect. Just like the lie that you have to be perfect to come to Jesus. I got to get my life straightened up before I can come to him. No, you don't. You come exactly like you are. And when his truths get in you, you'll want to change. You'll want to change. It won't all happen necessarily all at once. Some people it does, but you'll always have things to work on. And you'll always be changing for the rest of your life. Love never fails. So, like I said, it's not contingent on what they deserve or what they don't or do to you. Show love. Sometimes you being that example can change people's lives. And when you don't know what to do, always walk in love. All right, if everybody'd like to stand with me, I hope that encouraged you and that you can apply it to more than just your marriage, but life. And you leave encouraged with battle plan, because we're in a war. And we talk a lot about the health and the finances and children, but not so much about the marriage of it being a place where we need to prepare for war. But we do, because you're a powerful force. And God wants to try, or the devil wants to try to sneak in and take bites out of you to weaken you in any area that he can. And we need to stand strong, because this war we're in is for people's lives. Their spiritual, eternal life. Far more valuable than war that we have here on earth, where they can kill the body. This is a spiritual war that is for people's souls. And if we're distracted by our marriages being array and being all a mess, and we don't feel like we're able to pour into other people, we won't. So we need to stay strong in our marriages. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you and praise you for the message that you gave this morning. I just ask, Lord, that you would just keep everybody encouraged in their marriage, in their life. I speak health and healing over every single person here, Lord. I thank you and praise you that it belongs to us. And Lord, I speak over the marriages in this church. I thank you that they will be a living example of your love for the church. I thank you and praise you, Father, that you have all the answers in your word. I just give you praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Have a good week, guys. Oh, Russ will be teaching on Wednesday. You do not want to miss it. Woo, woo.
Be sure to vote.